Okay, so here is the AP foot. We've started with a 10 by 12 lengthwise. We've aligned her long axis of her foot with the IR. We've got a right marker on the lateral side. Our CR is placed at the base of the third metatarsal. We started with a 40-inch SID, and then we adjusted down to 38 because we added a 10-degree posterior angle. We made sure that our marker again was on the lateral side up near the toes so that it's appropriate when you display. Our patient is shielded, and her breathing instructions are to hold still and expose. Medial oblique for the foot. We have our 10 by 12 still. We've changed our SID back to 40 because there's no tube angle, okay? We've got our right marker on here still, and we need to internally rotate how much?
30 to 40 degrees.
If you notice the arch of your foot here, okay, on this lateral side, it kind of flattens out. So what we want to do is actually internally rotate until this part, this dorsal part of your foot, becomes parallel with the IR. So we've rotated her in. Are you okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. So we've rotated her in until this dorsal portion of her foot is parallel with the IR. Okay. We're going to check that we still are centered at the base of the third metatarsal, which we're not. We're at the level of it, but we need to change so that we're centered over the base. So now we're no longer aligned on our IR. So with CR part and IR alignment, our CR and our part are aligned. So I'm going to lift up her foot just a little bit and center back on my IR. Okay, good. Marker is on the lateral side still. We've included her toes and her calcaneus. On her, we were able to collimate just a little bit. Lift up just a little bit. Not center this way. There we go. Okay. Okay, so still not happy with that. So just through the movements, we've come out of centering just a little bit. So we're gonna stay. I changed the CR to center on my anatomy better. Now I'm gonna help her again, just lift straight up, and I'm gonna line up my tube and bucky, or my tube and my IR again. That's better. Okay, so we still have light to include her toes and her calcaneus. We're centered on the base of her third metatarsal. She's rotated internally until this dorsal surface of her foot is parallel with the IR. We went back up to a 40-inch SID. She's still shielded from the previous projection. What are her respiration instructions?
Hold still.
To hold still, okay? So we've had her dorsiflex her foot. We've turned the IR crosswise, but really it runs with the length of her foot. So the length of her foot aligns with the length of the IR. There's a 90-degree angle between her tibia and her foot. The marker is going to come anterior and superior. Okay, we still have a 40-inch SID, and this time where are we centering?
Oh, yeah.
Malleoli. We are looking at the foot still. So actually, this one is going to be at the
Medial cuneiform?
medial cuneiform. Good. So the medial cuneiform is here, and it's at the level of the base of the third metatarsal. I am going to center up just a little bit more. Okay. And I'm going to leave my collimation open for just a second because what do I need to do? Yeah, line up my IR. So my CR and my part are aligned. So now I'm going to lift up just a tiny bit.
So you're
Dorsiflex your foot for me.
Centering it.
There you go.
Medial cuneiform.
Yes. Yep. Okay, so centering and everything is good now. Okay, make sure I did touch the universal button, so I'm going to check my SID again. Good. Okay, now her foot is dorsiflexed, but now we need to look at the plantar surface of her foot. If you notice, the plantar surface of her foot is a little angled like this. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to roll you up onto your affected side just a little bit more because I want to exaggerate this. Look at the movement in her foot as that happens. As her knee drops, this angle increases. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring her up just a little bit, her knee up. So now the plantar surface of her foot is perpendicular with the IR. Okay. It did change my centering a little bit because I moved her, so now I'm just gonna double check that. Get that back in there. Lift up just a tiny, tiny bit, okay? Okay. Let me lift your foot up.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, that's better. Okay, so we've still got light past the toes. We've still got light past the calcaneus. We're including the 1 inch of the distal tib fib. Okay. We're gonna shield her. And then what are her instructions?
Hold still.
To hold still. Okay.